Land of the rising sun, we love and cherish. We loved homeland of our brave heroes. We must defend our lives, or we shall perish. We shall protect our hearts from all our foes. But if our prize is death, for all we hold dear, then let us die without a shred of fear. Hell to Biafra, consecrated nation, oh fatherland, peace be our solemn pledge. Defending thee shall be our dedication. Spilling our blood will count our privilege. Now wearing standard which emboldened thee free, shall always be our flag of liberty. We shall emerge triumphant from this ordeal, and through the crucible onset will pass. When we are poised the wind of battle to heal, we shall remember those who died in mass. Then shall our trumpets peal the glorious song of victory. We score might and wrong. Oh God, protect us from dying in pitfall. Guide all our movements, lest we go astray. Give us the strength to heed the humanist call, to give and not to count the cost each day. Bless those who rule to serve with resolute grace, to make this kind our land of righteousness. All hail
Biafra's Got Talent
Biafra.
exclusive.
After this heavy rain, please let the sun rise.
Our lives are in danger, siblings and more that all day long we have been ruled by strangers. Give us Biafra. save my life. Chukwu King and Biafra, you are the one to give us Biafra. We pray. Oh, just save the lives. We are your children, save our lives.
We are like sheep has gone astray. Restore our land and heal our hearts.
Save my life.
Save my life. Save my life. Almighty Father.
We are begging you, please.
Same thing, living hell in the zoo. You up there, my set us free. We are begging you.
See my people stay at crying. You up there, my people dying. Save our land, we beg you for love.
Tears in my eyes, every day I can cry. The thing is I'm asking for, Lord, give me Biafra or I die. We need a better picture, a better future, a better future, the Lord.
Freedom is what we want, nothing more, nothing less. We are tired of the zoo and their wickedness. Yes.
Save my life, Papa.
Give us Biafra.
We are begging you, please. We are begging you, please. When your kingdom shall come, we will know we are safe. When your kingdom shall come, we will know we are safe. Father, Lord, we lift up our hands to the air now. Chukwu King can take all the glory and give it. Send your son to give the life. Send your infant to be
Give us Biafra. Give us Biafra. We are begging you, please.
Alelele bukom, iwe ewe bukom, obia bawakom, ndio chichi beri.
I know you can feel our anguish, but don't let us perish in the hands of our enemies.
Yes, once again, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom, men and women of goodwill, conscious people wherever you are all over the world, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and to some of you, good night, depending on your time zone. And of course, this is Radio Biafra Extra, and we are streaming live through Biafra Human Rights and Freedom Radio Station. Biafra Human Rights Radio Station is a child of circumstance that is usually referred to and is being anchored by Diokpa Uche Ukafomefo. Diokpa Uche Ukafomefo, he is from Abatete. Abatete is in Anambra State, and Anambra State is Biafra land. He is the man who has simply assured us that he will not allow the heart of this project to see corruption. And I will keep reminding our people, this is one truth that we will not be able to comprehend. But as we embark on this journey, the truth will become clearer to every one of us. And of course, by the special grace of the Almighty Creator, I remain George Onyibe. I hail from Agbo, and of course, Agbo is in Anioma province, and Anioma province is in Delta State. Every piece of land in Delta State is Biafra land. This having been said, we will move ahead this evening to welcome every member of the Biafra Nation family, wherever you are all over the world. I welcome you this evening. I welcome members of the de facto customary government of Biafra land. I welcome all of you. I welcome men and women who have stood in the gap to ensure that in a time like this, we keep on propagating this gospel of the restoration of Biafra, because our message has not changed the last time we check. It is Biafra, and it's all about Biafra, and we continue to talk about that Biafra until it is restored. And of course, I will move ahead to acknowledge the Creator, the one who has set our feet upon this path that we must follow. I will not even fail to welcome those people who are the real enemy of our struggle, our agitation, but who moves in pretense. If we fail to acknowledge them, and then we will never know when they strike. But we thank the Almighty Creator, because in the end, We can only get better. We can only get stronger. We are not going anywhere. We will remain here. And so I'll go ahead and acknowledge the Creator, Chukwukika Biama. And in my humble way, I say to him, Anyị na-aja gị mma o, maka n'eziokwu na-emara mma e, ịhụnanya na gị, obiọma gị, o juru anya dadi o, inwe gị mgbanwe o, ọ dịghị onye dịka gị, ịbụ Alpha na Omega, anyị niile na-asị na n'ịdị mma o. Ise. This evening we will move our head ahead to our topic, which is simply titled, There is so much at stake on this journey. On this journey, on this quest to restore Biafra, there is so much at stake. And our people may not have been able to see clearly those things that are at stake. But it is our duty to continue to enlighten our people. It is our duty to continue to internally strategize. And of course, Nigeria has no two ways than to bow to the yearning and the ultimate request of the people, which is Biafra restoration. What we are doing here is not new. The Bible says there is nothing new under the sun. Nothing. Nations and kingdom in time past has gone through similar thing. And all of them have said before us their encounter, their experience for us to be able to navigate through this very moment. That is why no matter what happens on the way, it is to be expected. But there is so much at stake. In these few years we have spent trying to agitate, these few years we have spent trying to see that our people are waking up to their responsibility. I have noticed few things, and those are some of them. That Nigerian is not afraid of what you are seeing. Nigeria does not give a damn of what you have to say, but certainly very afraid of what your next line of action may be. And so we can keep on saying, but without our action, they will never regard us. And that having been said, every Biafrans, anywhere they are all over the world, will understand that a lot is at stake. A lot of things are happening before our very eyes, and sometimes we think it is our effort that is bringing about those wonderful things to come to our life. No, the enemy have not even struck us. They will strike us in our weakest moments. They will strike us with those things we hold dear and we love. They will strike us, we will never know that they are the one. But believe me, our heart is ready. And that is why today, in the presence of all odds, we begin to push every man or woman, irrespective of who is involved, to make them understand that in the end, a lot is at stake. If you are sensible, if you are patient, if you are diligent, if you really want to know the truth behind the freedom, the delay in the restoration of Biafra, this is the time for you to stand on a neutral position and observe what is happening. For the very first time, we have controversial issue going up everywhere. Governors are denying and agreeing that they know about it. They want to give us a news, and so we begin to talk about it. But you need to be very careful and understand that almost on daily basis there is news to see. Today is about they are shooting the people sporadically, they damage many motor, they burn shop, the Nigerian Boko Haram Janjaweed army. Everything that is happening has not stopped them, and believe me, it will not stop them. They can only intensify on their pressure on us as a people. They will set up strategy that will make them feel they can break us. But the point is that they don't even understand us anymore. How could they break us? The issue of a boy is still lying there. And it would have been proper I come here this evening and I tell you they are killing us in a boy. Of course, it has been going on for a very long time. But a very complicated one. If we don't tell our truth about the circumstance that is surrounding our misery, we will not be able to escape from it. We have that of the Imo State issue. Everybody are talking from both sides without even being sincere to tell ourselves the truth. Understand all these things that is happening, it is happening in our territory. All of us should have concern. I understand properly the true history of the Biafra nation, even before it was divided into two. And the other part of the ancient Biafra is lying down there in Amazonia. These people know who they are, but for many reasons they don't even want to have access to us. They don't even want to do anything with us. I have had two different audios of things coming from them. They have their pain. And one day, if we are not careful, I will stop that at that. And this having been said, a lot of people have been in this position. A lot of things are going to happen. The more there is propaganda, the more those genuine concerned nations and people, companies and organizations around the world will not agree with what you are saying. For over half a decade, we were constantly hunted down by the Nigerian military and the police and security. Yes, this is a right time for us to be happy that unknown gunmen are killing and doing whatever they want to do. This is the right time for us to say, yes, there is somebody giving revenge. It is okay. But the most important thing is that we must not forget that there is a lot at stake. Today we continue pushing, like I said earlier. There are many reasons. If you feel today you are not an Igbo man and you have that intention that this struggle is about an Igbo man, let me tell you, the Igbo nation remains our last line of defense. Nigerians are not bothered about the rest of you because they know where they can get you and then bring you down. But the Igbo nation remains that which must be protected for us to get home. And so those of you who inbox me and you tell me you are not Igbo man, what are you doing here? Leave us alone. You don't even know what you are saying. And those of you who say we are Niger Delta, Biafra is Igbo, you don't even know what you are saying. And from their ultimate agenda, once they bring down the Igbo nation, every other nation trapped within Nigeria, they are gone as a people. And what am I trying to say invariably? This is our fight. You are from Idoma, you are from Igala, you are from Iyala, you are from Igbo, you are from Urobo, you are from Ishekiri, you are from anywhere within the Biafra land. And you think it doesn't concern you. Let our experience in the Nigerian state tell you the truth. The only thing that unites us perfectly well in the Nigerian state is being able to identify with our misery, with our suffering as a people. Like I said, our topic is there is so much that is at stake. And so when we begin to fight, when we don't even have reason to fight, when we begin to press on, when we are supposed to give back down, it is not because there is something that is in it for us to gain in the end, but it is because somebody have to do this. If we fail to do what we are doing now, who will do it? Having said that, there are countries who has been in the same position where we have seen ourselves today. But they were able to mount their duty post. They were able to strategize. They suffered greatly. And today, most of them are the envies of the world. When it comes to the event of every civilization or advancement, it is usually falls on the shoulder of few individuals with different interest targets. When you talk about civilization, when you talk about the history of advancement, the progress of mankind, yes, in most cases, it falls on the shoulder of few different individuals. All these people work very hard to make sure that with their individual target, they are able to meet up to their own target. There are fascinating stories, all of them written within archives of nations and kingdom. Each of them will tell you how they survived, how they struggled, how they got to where they are. It was not always on the bed of roses. But each of these individuals knew that in a particular time, they need to focus. And that is why in a time like this, in a phase like this, for this Biafra restoration project, a lot of fronts are coming up. A lot of individuals are anchoring to fight from different fronts. And these are some of the things that give us confidence that in the end, whether the enemy likes it or not, Biafra will come. If we take, for instance, an example from the Nigerian independence, I keep repeating this, so our people must be guided. There is no amount of propaganda. There is no amount of blackmail. There is no amount of lie you will tell your brother that will change anything. All of us are under this brunt of humiliation and persecution. There is no amount. And the world are spectators. And then they are looking at us. Because one day, they will have to make a choice. One day, they will all have to take a stand. One day, it will dawn on them to do the right thing. But until that day comes, we must be very careful we don't use our hand to destroy all that is left of us. A lot has gone wrong. Not everybody will understand. Using Nigeria as a case study to project the position we find ourselves in a time like this, and the need for all of us to be very careful and up and doing in every area. It didn't happen on a platter of gold. There were men and women before the days of Nahuru who want independence for over 70 years. People have been pushing to see that Nigerian gain her independence. Yes, Nahuru can be referred to as the leader or father of Nigerian independence. But something on a very fateful day happened in Enugu. And the people at that time had the opportunity to push for independence from the hands of the colonial master. And that was the Enugu mining. It was the blood of those men that actually activated the true process that led to independence. And though Nahuru may be referred to as one of the founding father, leading father in terms of independence, but he did not walk alone. He walked with so many people. He moved this motion to call for a state of independence for the people of Nigeria. Because at that time, there have not been any conspiracy yet against the people. The indigenous nation trapped in this contraction called Nigeria. Everybody was the same. Nahuru was from the Midwestern state. Amongst side there, as a politician, there is nobody better to push this struggle at that moment. They have business tycoons, they have academians, intellectuals at different level, they have original, pure-blooded, blue-blooded individuals, monarchs that were not placed there by the government of the day, but were born as king that they are. At that very particular time, they have founding father. Every region in Nigeria has somebody representing them. But they all knew that there is a role to play. Though there are many articles trying to contradict the fact that Nahuru is not the one who led the push for Nigerian independence, but then when you look at the names of the people that will be mentioned in that very document, you discover that there are people fighting from different sides. On the political front, Nahuru lead the campaign. The campaign to meet the Queen of England and those who are responsible, and give them reason, wool them if necessary, that Biafra must come. I mean that Nigeria must have independence. And Nahuru and all the politicians in their time begin to make move. And they understand the need why somebody like Nnamdi Azikiwe should go back to the Biafra nation and represent them. Obafemi Awolowo was assigned to go and cover the frontiers of the Oduduwa nation. And of course, we have Ahmadu Bello championing the cause of the Fulanis. We cannot forget about Tafawa Balewa, who was championing the cause of the Hausas. And of course, we have people in charge of diplomatic relationship as well as protocol. People like Aven Ikoku. And I can go ahead and begin to give you names of groups, men and women, who understand that this journey is not for one man. And everybody have to do what they got to do to make sure we get independent. And it was almost impossible to pin anybody down. There is a lot of miracles that will happen. We are the one that will initiate this process of miracle. And in the end, we will see the light. We will know that everything that is happening and that will happen, everything that has happened before now, all of them have a role to play. And then finally, they were able to push through. It is true that this independence they pushed for was a compromised one, because the people who gave us independence installed a pendulum of chaos in place at that night, at that eve of our independence. And these chaos, pendulums of chaos, cannot be repaired, rectified, corrected by anybody. And that is why Nigeria, as you see today, will never get better. Because every attempt that is meant to make Nigeria better will only activate this pendulum of chaos to destroy all that is left of us. It is meant to move one way forward, and then it will go 2 ways backward. That is how it is designed to be. Seed of discord was sowed among us. And the people who fought for our independence were not careful enough to dissect the information at their disposal. They were all selfish and greedy people. And that is why when we talk about the Fulani, when we talk about the Oduduwas, when we talk about the Medobe, the Hausas, the Fulani, when we talk about the Niger Delta, when we talk about the Igbo nation, as far as it is under this one umbrella, all of us go see something. All of us go see something. Why? Because at that moment where this nation, country called Nigeria was being created, people did not consider what we are going to go through today. Most of these founding fathers, most of these pioneers who pushed for independence, most of them were busy looking for how it is going to favor their own section, member of this country. The Yoruba, led by Awolowo, wanted their people to be best, and that is the best for all of them. I do not condemn that action. It led to tribalism, but whatever the case may be, it will be on history that Obafemi Awolowo stood for Yoruba nation. Tafawa Balewa, it is the only Hausa man that is recognized in the history of Nigeria. Others are Fulani. Tafawa Balewa did his best. I perceive he must be a very disciplined human. But then his target was how it will favor the Hausa today. The question should be, Awolowo is gone, Tafawa Balewa is gone. Whatever they labored for that day, whatever they decide to compromise for a good one Nigeria, where are they today? Ahmadu Bello was there doing on his own. I tell you, the Fulanis are not having a feast day. They will spend the rest of their night and the rest of their life trying to think of how to undo us. And it is not possible. It can never be possible for them to undo us. And so that is their cross. That is their curse. They will live with it. Ahmadu Bello understands the need why the Fulani must have orientation, the mindset that they are born to rule us. They must constantly and ruthlessly undermine us as a people, seeing our territory as a conquered territory, the estate of their forefather Utmad and Fodio. And now all these people came together to fight for one indivisible Nigeria, as you can see today. But each of them have different agenda. They never knew it is going to backfire. Zik of Africa, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, he was supposed to represent the Biafrans. He played his own rule to the best of his knowledge. And then there were particular political interests that made them not to be able to deliver a holistic nation. Each of them went back to their region. And in less than 1 week of independence, the pendulum of chaos, the strategy of commotion was initiated by the same people who claimed to give us independence. And then we begin to have issues. Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogo have access to an information in London where they were being trained by the British government. Because in as much as we do not have any intention to use derogated words for the enemies of our people, we have to sometimes say the truth bluntly, whether you like it or you don't like it. Chukwuma Nzogo today, you can call him any name you want, from Anyoma province, have access to information while they were under training in London. The Queen of England actually made sure that through the inter-house sport, they were able to pick up young men who were very strong athletics. Most of you will not know, Gowon was a very strong athletics. Ifa Jonah was a very strong athletics. Odim Chukwemeka Odimegu Ojukwu was an extraordinary sportsman. Go and check all these founding father from Obasanjo. Most of them were not from a very wealthy home, but in terms of sport, they could do much. And they were in the best position to represent the government of the day, the colonial government, because of their agility, their strength. Some of them may be quiet and move slowly, but they are very dangerous, even more than viper. They were specifically and uniquely chosen from among the people to undermine the people. And if any of them will come out today and say the truth, you will discover that they know indeed they failed their people. It doesn't matter how much they pretend, but in the end, they failed the people. Each of them being guided with selfishness, interest to make their own region better than the other, which is natural and normal, if I would say. But they didn't count on what is happening today. And so in that first night, having access to information made Chukwuma Nzogo to thought that the people were one. He gathered the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis, and those of them who think that they were Nigerian youth, and released that information to them and said, we cannot allow this to happen. These were that original document of the seed of discord, the seed of strife, and which led to extermination of certain individuals who they perceive will become a problem for the new nation. Whether they are right or they are wrong, they did what they did. In few months from there, we have assassination of military high-ranking officers across the country. Whether what they did was right or wrong, it plunged Nigeria into civil war, which lasted for 3 years on. And of course, it is still ongoing. Whether what they did that day was good or bad, we are still under military occupation. The war never ended in Nigeria. Yes, it did end in Nigeria, but not in Biafra land. And evidence of our land being under military occupation is still there. Most of the things they do to us is that the war is still on in Biafra land. These things are happening today because the people who represent at that moment could not sincerely dissect information and issues at their disposal. This mistake has been constantly repeated from one dispensation to another. And now we have found ourselves on this crossroad, and then we say no, we will not make this same mistake. There are many corrections to be made. There are many battles to be fought. Most of them we do not even know the nature of this battle, but then we just have to be battle ready. And today, look at where we have found ourselves. We keep fighting. Nigerians will keep fighting. Biafrans will keep fighting. Because not until everyone is allowed to exist in his own natural abode we are not going anywhere. The issue we are getting involved, this comprises of knowledge that is too big for most of you to understand. And so to you, it is all shall be. Anywhere belief is. So when they push you, you go. But the Almighty Creator will enlighten all of us. And then whatever position we are assigned to fight, by divine providence, that He, the Creator, will give us the grace to defend Biafra nation in that last outpost without checking its course on daily basis. And of course, I will proceed briefly to look at the encounter of the people of Israel. From the Bible time to this very moment, there are people who have suffered so many persecution. And God has made it clear to them that whether they like it or not, He's going to scatter them across the globe. As we speak today, nobody can categorically or confidently come out and tell us where the 10 tribes of Israel are. You have only 2 tribes remaining. The rest 10, as you are saying, as you are talking this moment, nobody knows where they are. Nobody. If we go down the memory lane, when Solomon passed on, the people of Israel called his son and said, your father have ruled us with an iron hand. And then we want you to reduce the taxation, the burden your father placed on us. His son refused. Because he seek for wrong counsel and he was eventually misled. And then under his reign, the nation of Israel divided into 2. 10 tribes went on their own in revolt against the family of David. Only 2, Zion, Jebusite, and Judea, remained. And for divine intervention, they were able to maintain, hold their ground to this very moment. And the other 10, for some reason, were assimilated. They were consumed by the neighboring countries around them. But the fight for Israel to totally and completely return home to make the Hebrew nation of Abraham to be completed, they keep fighting to come back home till this very moment. But somewhere along the line, the Roman Empire conquered the Ottoman Empire. They ruled the world and took over Israel, the Palestinian from the Hebrew people, the Jewish people. And then they did not have any country of their own again. They continue to scatter across the globe. And their blood lineage tampered with. But they would not allow their blood lineage to be bastardized. There were men and women out there who were still thinking. And so for how many years they wandered across the globe without a home. They knew the danger they were going to face as a people. And so God kept the seed of a nation in the heart of men and women, who at every given time were able to stand against all odds. It doesn't matter who is involved, but to make sure that the nation is reborn, the rebirth of Israel. And so at the end of the Roman reign, the people of Israel, the Jewish people, have scattered across the globe. I tell you, at every given instant, it takes wisdom from above for them to be able to navigate through the challenges of life and still emerge as a nation in the end. They have to even temper with their culture. Let me digress a little bit. I was studying the history of a man by the name Ben Bruce. And if what I'm saying offends you, I mean no harm, but we must learn. Exactly what Ben Bruce did, exactly the role Ben Bruce is playing in the Niger Delta, in the John Nation, exactly the same thing. I want to believe they learned this secret from the Hebrews, the Jewish. Ben Bruce, I will tell you categorically, according to how we can check our ancestral lineage, is not a Ijaw man, he's not a Nigerian man, but he is. Why? Because his parents, his father, is not from Nigeria, but his mother is. And now, according to culture and tradition, we count our lineage by our father. But then, if the people will come together and agree to alter some of this culture and tradition to enhance their survival, There is nothing wrong there. And so, after the Civil War, a lot of the Ijaw people were massacred, slaughtered in their thousands. Continually, they are still being killed as we speak today. And at that particular point in time, they notice their population is dwindling already. And then for them to survive, they switch their culture. And so today, check most of their children that are doing well. It is their mother who saved them. Today, I can tell you Ben Bruce has done more for the Ijaw nation, more than any Ijaw nation. But he remains an Ijaw man. He born as a Ijaw man. He will live as a Ijaw man. He's going to die as a Ijaw man. And then let God decide the rest. But there is something I want you to see there. I do not want to go in depth. Someday you will know. The people of Israel understand, the Jewish people understand that they have to alter some of their principle to ensure their survival. Who are they going to abandon? They don't even know where 10 sons, the sons of Joseph, Simeon, Judah, the rest of the children, they don't even know where they are. And the ones that know themselves are scattered everywhere. There is no more Jerusalem for them to return to the temple. But what do? What do they have to do? They begin to initiate principle, stage by stage. Today, the Hebrew of Abraham count their lineage from their father. They count their lineage from their father. But the Hebrew or Jewish today of Netanyahu count their lineage from both father and mother. Little wonder do they have Jewish America, Jewish European, Jewish Arabian, Jewish Palestinian, Jewish French, Jewish Africa. Because they understand, as far as you carry a tiny drum of the Hebrews, the Jewish nation, we can never allow you to disappear. This were process. This were process guided with divine wisdom, too high for us to understand. A carnal man will not understand it today. And so for many years, they never had a home, a place to call their home. They were scattered. Today we have a place to call our home. But it is almost better that we did not have a place. And so we are scattered. And when we are scattered, what are we doing? All of us has been reduced to common otimpu. We have been reduced to common otimpu. You do not know that wherever you are standing at this moment, you were sent there for a purpose, for the sake of our people. We need to use our sense. The people of Israel start fighting from different angles. They were in Europe. They were in Arabia. They were in Asia. They found themselves everywhere. The business tycoon begin to form alliance among themselves. The scientists, go and check the role the Jewish scientists played in America and in the global community setting. They begin to form alliance. They were not headed by one man. They were guided by different principles. Those in politics begin to make move. They begin to push and rule every government of the day. They never had a land. And then they gain economical strength globally, that even the nations of their abode envy them. Today, God has taken us, the Biafrans, to this level. When they envy you as Igbo man, because of your success and achievement, this should not make pride consume you, because you are here for a purpose. Let it humble you and understand that a day will come, your connections as a businessman, your education as an intellectual, your relationship with other nations of the world as a politician, our privilege of intermarriage, all of them are going to play a vital role that will enhance the total emancipation of our people. We are scattered everywhere, and wherever we find ourselves will emerge victoriously, prosperously. You can't explain it, but I tell you, it is not in you. It is not in you. But we were all fashioned out like this. But the people of Israel understand at that particular time that there is need to begin to form alliance. And they did. Out of envy and jealousy, they were murdered, slaughtered. Some of them are part of their problem. That is how it will always be. And then until they get to repurpose a particular time. You could refer it as the Holocaust. They said 6,000 Jewish were murdered. And they were being slaughtered across the globe. And then after then, people begin to come together. People begin to talk to somebody. Somebody now have to talk to somebody. Somebody now have to talk to somebody. The Jewish in America played very important and vital role to make sure the land of Israel was given back to them. They went home to look at the land of Israel and saw that there are people who still remain in Jerusalem were very tiny, very poor, just like we are poor here now. We are tiny now, but we are waiting here on ground to make sure that when the time comes, we will be there to answer you. Those in America, those in Europe, those in Asia, those anywhere they are all over the world may be very wealthy, may be very powerful, may be very connected, but they have become an airline to that land from which they were born, because their umbilical is not buried there, and so they never had any covenant with nature itself. The land would have vomited them. But these people they critically principled every issues out. The people who were in Israel, whether Tel Aviv or anywhere at that particular time, were poor. They don't have money to travel out. They have to live under the guise of the Palestinian. Either you become a fool or you die. But when it was time to return home, they were needed. They built companies. They employed their enemy to work there. And then they took advantage of those, their brothers and sisters who remained at home. Guided them very well. From that company they built, bit by bit they took over a large portion of their land. These were businessmen and women. These were strategy. In one of our discussions, our northern administration made mention of something. He said we need to gain economic strength. Gaining economic strength is not in the Nigerian state, because every door is shut against us already. This economic strength, if those of you in diaspora will be able to coordinate yourself in another front in such a way that you can move the power of your currency to perform miracle, you will see how much you can do. And then the people of Israel, everybody was ready. Every arm of government was ready. Every sector of the society were ready. But they never knew. But today, when they begin to review everything they have done, they see where they were actually coming from and where they are going to. The reason why we have to take time for us to begin to analyze all these things is for you to understand that what is happening to us is not new. Wisdom is the principal thing, and in everything we will get, we need this wisdom. Because without that, the journey has just begun. It took the courage and sacrifice of few good men who made effort, frantic effort, positive effort for things to be the way they are. And now, in our own case, some of the strategies that the children of Israel, the Jewish, deployed to get home was that, number one, they recognized those in exile. They recognized those in exile. How does it work? There is a song we usually play. We say, by the rivers of Babylon, there we lay down, oh, and there we will, when we remember Zion. Babylon, so carry us away, captivity require this song from us. How can they sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Those in exile knew they have to come home. And I feel the burden of all the Biafrans in exile. You are in exile not in that sense as a fugitive. You are in exile just that you are compelled to be there. Ordinarily, with the level of achievement of most of you, It would have been better if you come home and invest. But it can't function. The whole system is dysfunctioning already. You can't place it. You are in exile. I wonder how many Americans are fighting to safeguard their property anywhere in the world, not to talk of in their own land, America. I wonder how many Europeans are fighting to secure their property anywhere around the world, not to talk of their own land. I wonder how many Arabians, how many Chinese, Japanese, fighting to protect their investment anywhere around the world, not to talk of their own land. But I understand you are a Biafran. We have not put strategies in place, and so you do not know your rule yet. And so it continues that way. Like I was saying, those in exile understand they have a role to play. You that is in exile, what role are you playing? And if indeed you are playing the real role, is there any platform to harmonize our activities? Or you are going to create saboteur? You that is in diaspora, that sacrifice, that effort you are making, that role you are making, is there any uniting factor that makes it useful? My brother, it's not for you to come out and insult people. It is not for you to come out, you insult the enemy till you are no longer insulting the enemy, you are insulting your people. It didn't start with us. Those in exile recognize role they are supposed to play. And whatever role they play from exile, it will come to nothing if those at home are not there to do their job. And so, you cannot boast that you are in charge of the homeland and you think you will survive. No. You all have a role to play. One of the greatest things that gave me confidence to join this struggle in the first place, because I knew they cannot kill us. Because Nigerian state will poison all of us in 1 week. When we go for protest, when we carry out activities, the way those of you in diaspora, at that time, Mazuchi, Okafomefo, and the rest good people like Obidi, all of you wonderful men, before now, all of you who heard the line, let him Mezu, I knew they couldn't blot us out anymore. Because with every single move they make, you people are there to tell the world the truth about what is happening to us as a people. Not all these rubbish lions we are trying to do now. I don't want to feel bad this evening. And so we have the confidence that those of you in exile, those of you in diaspora, you will not keep quiet for us to die. We understand in the time of Ojukwu, they were completely almost disconnected. They couldn't do more. Only to carry place card, do protests around Europe. And not much could be done. And that was because they didn't put the true instrument of freedom in place. Of course, it was an emergency. And so, in as much as you are in diaspora, meant to play a divine rule that will ensure our freedom, there is a reason why we are here. And we can only pray that God will guide our footsteps to do that which we are supposed to do. And I continue. There are also another third group who are referred to as the businessman. We cannot open up everything for you here. The business class. They buy and they move. They can't do anything. But they are not very strong men and women. They are not very muscular like most of you. They may not be able to speak good English. But I can assure you that they are invincible. Everybody played their role. Where are our business tycoon? Where are our business moguls? Where are they? What is their plan? Somewhere along the line, Nigeria will protect your investment. You better die as a citizen of that country where you are. And so if you want your wealth to come back home, you have a role to play. I don't need to begin to tell you what you people are supposed to do. You hear about societies of engineers of Nigeria. They are not engineering anything. This mindset has dulled all of us down. Why don't we have association of Biafran businessmen across the globe. I tell you, every door will be open to them. But we are not looking at this direction. Most of us want this food to be prepared for us and then they serve us. Some of us want to reap where they didn't labor. But if we continue to do this and running on the offense, our freedom will be delayed, because God cannot be mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall reap. Imagine, I don't want to be tempted to begin to say what these people can do. But let us pray that the newly formed de facto customary government of Biafra will do the right thing. And of course, I believe God will guide them into wisdom. These were different groups yearning, desiring to ensure that the nation of Israel is reinstated. We have those groups, those who have handwork. There are another group, handwork, artisans. How do you call them? Maybe if they were to be Biafran, you call them Uguaja. There are a group of Uguaja in Israel. They all work together in their own capacity. And that is why to build a company, they need their men. We can't even get a stronghold in our land. Because the way things are degenerating, you will even prefer to give that construction job to another tribe. Because you don't trust your people. And then how do you think you can be safe in your house that is built for you by your enemy? Am I saying that we are not failing ourselves? And that is exactly what I'm saying. And there is need for us to rewind our step. What you don't know, you don't know. And whatever you are doing that is not coming from genuine love, a pure heart, genuine interest of your people, you labor in vain. Everybody have a role to play. And just like the Bible says that in the house of a big man, there are so many interests, properties there. Some are for the duty, the job of honor, and others are for the job of dishonor. But I tell you, without those meant for the job of dishonor, those that are meant for honor are practically useless. Go and find out the strength, the economical input that those Uguaja can influence even in a very weak nation. It will shock you. The children of Israel understand that they have to play in different roles. There are those in politics. What do they do? Can we say we have a single politician, a Biafran politician, who decide to make himself as an enemy of the Nigerian state just to make our voice heard? No. And if tomorrow somebody rises up and begin to speak for his voice to be heard, Nigerian government certainly will call for their head. Do we have a body who can summon up support for such a man? Because this thing is going to take all of us. Enahoro was a politician. They keep calling him as the one who moved the motion for Nigeria to gain independence, because he was one of the most influential politicians in his time. And I thank God he had the support of other people like Tafawa Balewa, Bafemi Awolowo, and Amadou Bello, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, among millions of others. And so he didn't walk alone. Who is going to mobilize our people to support any politician at this moment who will stand to speak for us? Do we have what it takes? Because some people say, don't mind him, he wants to go to the next tenure. Don't mind him. This is the level of the generation, the toleration that it is within our mind. If somebody rises up today to do genuine thing to ensure our freedom as a politician, most of you are going to condemn him. That is why when we sit back and we analyze what is going on. Oh, tu bochi Biafra gabia, oge monuvum nanya ndị mmehie unu ga-eti ya aka n'obi. Otu ụbọchị Biafra ga-abịa oge monuvum nanya ndị mmehie unu ga-eti ya aka n'obi. N'etili ihe mere onwe m, ihe mere onwe m, ihe mere onwe m, unu ga-eti ya aka n'obi. The only thing that sweet us now is as I come now, I say our governors are criminals, our governors are armed robbers, our governors must be killed, our governors are evil, they are the one. But it is true. But after that, what else? Let each and every one of us tell ourselves the truth. If one governor from within Biafra land now stand up and say, let me face this monster, can you tell me any organization that will mount support for them? All of us will be dead, they will be slaughtered. We were here, Nigerian chased Alamesier to his grave. We were here, Ibori is still being oppressed. And we will be here, many more will be persecuted. Many will be oppressed. Now, this is the time for you when you say, our politicians got to do something. This is the time for you to map a strategy to defend them when time comes. Because believe me, most of them are turning away from wealth and politics to holistically embrace the true love of their people. Things are changing. Just that you are too busy to see that. We have those in the religious sector. There is no history of revolution anywhere in the world where you will not see a man of God who, against the principle that governs the religious body, will take some radical role. No wonder all the people who fought for revolution from America to India, all of them, to South Africa here, Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Men of God have roles to play. You do not know what you can do as a man of God. Today, most of you men of God are there trying to make prophecy and say the things that will give you like on Facebook. So when you are supposed to say the truth, they will insult you, they will curse you, they will castigate you. But for the good of our people, for the sake of that which we hold dear, this nation, why don't you allow them to continue? But now we have come to a level where our men of God are almost compromised. But I thank God I stand in the gap for all of you. I remain a reverend, ordained reverend. But I'm not saying I am better than you. We have a role to play. And that is my role that I am playing here. You don't know the power you control. And the reason is because as a Biafran reverend, clergy, man of God, as the case may be, you are a slave already without seeing it. You are limited by the Nigerian setting itself. And I don't want to go that way because I will not like my utterance myself. But who is this man of God who had great influence, who can make effort to see that everybody is on the same platform? I will not say details of how it's supposed to happen, because the moment you release any information here, Nigeria will go. That is why anybody telling you what they are going to do for Biafra, they are the enemy of Biafra. Because Nigerians are listening to what I'm saying. The DSS are listening to these broadcasts. Everybody, the British, all of them are listening. And I tell you the truth. They will checkmate you. We come to a stage and we say, oh, we they do Odieshi, we they do Odieshi. But I tell you, all the traditionalists, all the herbalists, all the native doctor, all the Ogbebulu, as the case may be, all the Dibia in Biafra land, all of them, DSS have tag on them. So when they shoot you, you don't enter. In fact, it is some of these native doctor, spiritualists that even tell police, that boy ain't come do Odieshi today. They work hand in hand. We expose them. You can condemn them now, but it won't change anything. You are the one who exposed them. And so when I see you, Odieshi, Nigerian, because they know you have Odieshi, what do? They make sure they bring bullet that is up to 20 millimeter thick. Very fat bullet like that. So even though it cannot penetrate you, it will break your spinal cord. Because the pressure it will use to fling you, you won't even survive the fall. So where is the essence of Odieshi? But if they didn't know you have Odieshi, they wouldn't go and buy those big weapons. And when you call, you say, kill them, shoot them, and you want them to keep quiet, the beauty of everything, living thing, is in their ability to improvise. The moment they sense a threatening danger, they immediately, automatically develop a defense mechanism. And if tree can, at that moment of challenge, develop a defense mechanism, are you telling me that it is human being that will not do that? Let me stop there. Men of God must rise up. Understand the role you are meant to play. This is a nation issue. This is a generational fight. Jesus Christ, from the beginning of his ministry to the end, understand the essence of family. And that is why at that dying moment, the Roman legionnaires were no longer there, except those who were guiding the tomb, waiting for him to die. But his mother was still there. His brothers were still there. And he looked at them and said, son, behold thy mother. Mother, behold thy son. And this is to tell you that anything you are doing, if it is not for the benefit of your family, I thought we were one family before. And then it's useless. I am specially inviting men of God. We are not here to review church doctrine. We are not here to say who is right and who is wrong. It is not about who will be the general overseer. There will be need for every of these departments to form a coalition that will make everybody bring his own sincere input to ensure we are free. We have cost you enough. We believe you know the truth, and God will guide you into all wisdom, so you know you have a role to play. And then you have those people who are in charge of administration. Believe me, I have worked with different capacities of intellectuals, people who are educated on different level, but I see they all have weakness. I was privileged to have worked in the same chamber with Ganiwu Adams. No, is it Ganiwu Adam? Why did this man name escape me? Let me see if I can get it. Okay, that is Ganiwu Adam. Sometime, you know. And then, I don't know if he's still alive. Ganiwu Adam is referred to as human rights activist. And let's say he did some exploit as a lawyer, as a radical behind the bar. He did certain things. But when you go close to him, there are some qualities or character of his life you may not like. Those of you who had the privilege of walking around that man, you know that there is a way he behaves. But this is who he is. Take what he is doing for the good of the people and forget his weakness. Today, what are we? You castigate people, you demonize people, you destroy everybody. So in the end, they lose their relevance. Imanka. If you are too sensible, are you foolish? You can't be sensitive and at the same time be foolish now. Why don't you stay in your own camp? If you are a man, can you be a woman? So why don't you respect yourself as a man and let the woman be? If you are too rich, can you be poor? It's not possible. If at the end of the day you are too fat, can you be more tinier than me? And now you see, to all his own. To all his own. A day will come, we will need people who have weight to do certain things. And then a day will come, it calls for those who are tiny to be able to achieve certain aim. A day will come, they will call people who are foolish. And then it serves its purpose. There are a lot of spiritual truth hidden all around us that has the capacity to give us what we are looking for. This knowledge are too high for us to understand. But don't worry, we will get there. You don't know the usefulness of a foolish people. You don't. Let me digress a little bit. Go to the palace of any genuine king. One of the evidence to know that a palace is a genuine palace, you must see a foolish man there or a drunk. It doesn't change. in the house of palace of a king. And watch those people that they look like their head is not normal. They are always the king's best friend. Man didn't make it that way. You will see in your community one man, he may be a drunkard, but his brain don't function fine. He will be the one that is the closest person to the king. Why? Makani mother boy money here bozu. Mother boy money here we bozu. But then you are going to tell the king, oh my king, you are a professor, you schooled in America. How can this man be here? Professor, I think you should upgrade the status quo of your, what do they call it? Is it palace or shrine? What is status quo about spiritual implication? Now people must understand. For these nations to be able to emerge free and still working stronger, it's not just a day job. It took the effort of more than one man rather, for them to get there. And now these are the things we need to do to learn. And then there are those in charge of administration. They may not be graduates, they may not be professors, but they are slightly touch command obedience. And you must respect this. Because we need a lot of them in Biafra land in a time like this. I would have said certain things, but I will withhold it. If we were able to initiate some of this program before now, you will see that what Nigerians will fear is our ability to organize ourselves. In a coordinated manner, organize ourselves. And when that day comes, every door will open for us. And then maybe finally, we have those who are of interest. There are those of people who are of interest, people of interest. They just want interest. If we fight for this Biafra, what will be our own? What is our benefit now? This is who they are. They have a role to play. And in most cases, it is that very covenant, agreement you have with them that brings out the best in them. But you have to pay them at the end of the day. You may not be able to pay them in terms of finance. But then, some of them don't even need it. But they want you to recognize that they did something. People of interest. You must find out what their interest is. And so I must appeal to every member of the de facto government that as policies are being formulated, of course, Alhaji Asari Dokubo being the chairman planning committee, that God will give them the wisdom to be able to carry every instrument that is required for this journey to be done. All of them must be intact. A lot of issues will be going on, but not until this network has been properly created. And then it is functioning without anybody, and yet with everybody. Not until a system is introduced which overrules personal interest and projects platform for the overall interest of the people. Maybe we keep talking. It's still working. We're taking bold step to create another family. We call it Biafra Nation Family. It is not because we are faultless. It is not because we are better than anybody. It is not because we want to challenge anybody. It is because it is time for this journey to begin. And of course, at this moment, our lines are open. If you are able to connect through the line, you are free to do so and make your contribution. And then if you have access to my private WhatsApp line, Facebook Messenger, as the case may be, you are still free to connect through my private line. But of course, the studio line is WhatsApp line. The studio WhatsApp line is 070 815 456 71 070 815 456 42 070, I repeat again, 815 456 42 070 815 456 42 is our WhatsApp line, and then the direct line is 081 221 52971 081 221 52971. And of course, like I said, the lines are open and you are free to call in. I'll be back in a minute. We go nowhere.
Reading from Biafra's Got Talents.
Africans will never be free until Biafra comes here. Africans will never be free until Biafra comes here. Africans will never be free until Biafra comes here. Africans will never be free until Biafra comes here. Englishman knows that, Frenchman knows that, Nigeria knows that, no. Englishman knows that, Frenchman knows that, Nigeria knows that, yo. They are playing on your intelligence. Life full of pretense. They are playing on your intelligence. They are playing on your intelligence. Their life full of pretense. Everything is diligent.
Yes, caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? Caller on WhatsApp.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Onyibe.
Good evening from here, my brother.
Good evening, my brother. First of all, I will start with appreciating you, doing great job, your sensitization, making our people understand that a lot of things are happening and making them understand, dying for, to stop dying for what they don't know about, to stop killing themselves for thinking they are fighting for Biafra. You understand? And maybe you know this voice, but I'm gonna be very, very critical at this point. I want to think outside the box. You understand? And I respect you for letting people to their view and speak up for themselves, and I'm not gonna insult anybody. I just want to say what I believe and the question I've been asking myself. You understand? My brother, the truth is our government has failed us. Nigerian government has destroyed our generation. And we all know this problem, and it's been happening for a long time. Nobody's speaking about it. Every blame is going to Buhari, and Buhari himself, being the #1 citizen of Nigeria, I don't think he's the only problem. Why I say that is because all this allocation, it goes to each state, all this budget, every state get the same thing. The same money, pot of money, they all get the money. It's not Buhari's fault that the governors, all this money, they choose to pocket this money. They choose not to do anything with all this money. They choose to use this money for their own selfish interest. They choose to send all this money abroad. They choose to use all this money to buy houses in Dubai and everywhere. You understand? So in America, you know, going to other part of Africa, owning airline and all that. This is what they're supposed to have developed their states with. And everybody is capitalizing on Buhari. When you know that all those money they generate from everything, all our God-given, you know, source of money, everything, our oil, everything God gave us to generate money, even the ones they steal from market women, poor people, everything, all those revenue they generate, it was all shared among the governors, among the states. But the problem is, let's start holding our governors accountability. Starting from the councillors, starting from the chairmen, starting from the, you know, senators. You understand? To the last person, each state, local government, everybody need to be held accountable. Even revenue collectors, we need to know what they are doing. So this accountability have to start with states. When we hold state accountability, then state will hold federal. You understand? State will now hold Buhari accountability. This is that's the problem we are talking about. But everybody is talking about Buhari. All this about Buhari, the president, not knowing that. Have you ever asked yourself, do you know that when I went to Ebonyi State is like, let me tell you, it's like a small London. Ebonyi State is one of the best states in Nigeria as I speak. The same Ebonyi State, he gets less revenue than Abia State. Abia State governor, he gets more revenue than Ebonyi State. But the man, he chose not to do anything for his people. But David Umar is doing contract after contract. He's developing everywhere. He's doing a lot of things. If you go to Ebonyi City, it's 24 hours street light. You will not believe like this is Africa. I'm telling you the truth. You know that, Mr. Onyibe. So
Ebonyi State was created the same time Delta State was created. If you look at the level of development between Ebonyi State and Delta State, it will amaze you. Ebonyi State was actually like just created as if it does not exist. But the level of development in Ebonyi State, if it will have such development everywhere in Biafra land, I tell you, I think the complaint will not be much. But of course, we are not exonerating any of them. We want to see more. We want to see better. And we need to help situations ourselves. Because I discovered that we are not helping issue. Sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, my brother. This is the obvious fact. So earlier we start, why can you be every time talking about Buhari, when you know that you know your local government chairman, you know where his office is, you know your house of rep, you know his house. Why can't you mobilize from your community, go to his gate, drag him out, to take him to where you want him to fish load, where you want him to do, where you want him to build a market for your people? Nobody is doing this. Everybody is just online, talking this, talking that. The little ones we can do as a human being, as citizens, we don't even know our rights. This is the problem. You understand? So let me tell you the truth, my brother. The simple fact is our problem is not Buhari. Buhari is all these governors, they are all the same. They work together. All those money, all this national cake, they share it together equal. But the big question is, who have the interest of the overall public, of his people at heart? That is the question you ask yourself. And David Umar is a practical example of a governor of the people. I'm not saying he's perfect, he's 100, because if he's perfect, he should have, extend this good work to every, part of Ebony State. He's doing so much, but he could do better. Because, all this money, he's not going to tell us that he's not still packeting some, because he's coming out for presidency. So he's going to put budget for that. You understand? When our people are going to start working for people, because if you do well for your people, you don't even need to save money to come out again for president or second tenor. Your people will use their own money to sponsor your campaign. They will do everything to support you, because you have proven to them that you are the voice of the people. This is what we need to understand. So that being said, I want to, stretch my hand to this, something to do with Biafra of it, Nnamdi Kanu is a product of Uwazulike, and during Uwazulike time, from what I'm very, very sure of, a lot of people died. You understand? A lot of people died during Mazov time.
Are we talking about those dumping the Zoo River? So many, unaccounted.
Yes, a lot of people died during the Mazov. Even, a lot of people. And, the picture I'm seeing now within Nnamdi Kanu, it reminds me a lot of things during Uwazulike time. I'm being honest, and I'm not trying to be biased, I will tell you truth. And if I'm lying, may he come back to me. I'm telling you truth. During time of Uwazulike, a lot of evil happened. I know a lot of my friends who died because they think they are much of soldier. And they believe that those times, what I can picture, they believe Biafra is coming today, tomorrow. And we are still there till today. And seeing Nnamdi Kanu, if anything, he's doing worse than Uwazulike. But let's be honest ourselves, he's still a product of Uwazulike. So my only candid advice to our people is, I'm more concerned about this death. Uwazulike now, me giving him time of the day now is because he's come back and realized that there is nothing better than peaceful struggle. That's why I'm still have given him respect, because during Mazop, a lot of people died in his time. It happened in my eye. A lot of people during Obasanjo, they was killing them like how you go to hunters to kill. I'm telling you the truth. So we have seen that picture. Nnamdi Kanu is doing more evil, and him being a product of Uwazulike. And what I can see now, the respect I have for Uwazulike now is that he understands his mistake, and he has retraced his step, and he's promised that he will never be part of armed struggle. He will never be part of anything that will kill or destroy life of any more Biafra. Because during the war, we have our own fair part of this intimidation. So we know it's not going to repeat itself again. Biafrans are, reducing every day, every night, all these people. I don't know why all this is still happening. You understand? So that's what I want to say. We need to know that all these people dying is our brothers, is our sisters. You understand? And it's not good. And then as you cannot, mother cannot give birth to child and just watch them to die for nothing. You understand? So, and all these people, they are not all this freedom fighting. Nobody gets paid for it. Especially those ones in Biafra land. They are not paying them. They are doing it with their soul. They believe what they have to can offer. You understand? Is their soul and body. And their loyalty. And you, shame on you, you that think you can take it for stupidity. Shame on you who think that for that simple reason, they don't want to live. So what am I trying to say? Let people, anybody that really think I'm struggling is the best, you need to lead from front. Was Rikena saying he wants peace? It's because, he's not ready to fight. He don't want to fight because he knows the implication. He knows what he's going to get. So even before Ojukwu died, he said he made a promise that he won't let our people die anymore. But that being said, Nnamdi Kanu is still his boy. So this is what I don't understand. So, and I watched an interview with Nnamdi Kanu and the lady from Germany. Anybody, I don't know, you need to share that interview on this page because people need to watch it. You understand? Or maybe next time you come online, you need to play that interview. Then when the interview is going on, you can now, digest it for people to understand. You can analyze it. Because that interview, that lady is a godsend. That interview says it everything all. If Nnamdi Kanu truly believe that his problem is Europeans, his problem is Americans, he should leave their country, he should come back home, and we will all come together. Nnamdi Kanu, if you have 50 supporters, if you come back home, you will have 100, because that's when people like me will take you serious. You cannot be in your self-comfort zone and you are accusing the same people that are protecting you that they are against you. No, it don't work like that. If Nnamdi Kanu believe that British is his problem, he should leave their country. He shouldn't even use their passport to start with. He shouldn't come out to brag that he's a British citizen. He should be in Biafra land and join his people on the ground and be the change he wants to see. This is what a true freedom fighter does. And the lady asked him a question. Why are you not in your country? You said you don't, Americans, British is your problem. He said, why are Britain in his country? What kind of stupid answer is that? Who is Britain in your country? Who is the Britain person in your country? No Britain person is in your country, Nnamdi Kanu. Anyone that is there, they go there and come back. They are like tourists. So none of them is in your country. If it's high commission, the same way you have high commission in Nigeria that stays in Britain. So they are not in your country. That's not an answer. That being said, the lady now make him understand that, you cannot be talking about these people and you're still in their country. Why don't you stay on your land? He's now giving an example of other freedom fighters that are fighting from exile. Nnamdi Kanu, we are in 2021. So why can't you be the revolutionary change? Why can't you create your own history? Why are you talking about other people that they've had their own time? They've paid their dues in the struggle. Why can't you print your name in that book of record that this is what Nnamdi Kanu did? Nnamdi Kanu, as I speak to you now, you have no record. Anybody that talk about Nnamdi Kanu, they will remember the tragedy that happened to our people, how the massacres, what Nnamdi Kanu has cost our people. Nnamdi Kanu, you are just playing again with it. I will call them low life, but they are just washed. Nnamdi Kanu during Obama time, this guy, Donald Trump, Nnamdi Kanu wasted a lot of lives in Port Harcourt for nothing. Nnamdi Kanu make this brainwash people back home, thinking that in then that Donald Trump is going to give them Biafra. And the people are not talking about it. Is it not craziness? Is it not, you understand? That alone is enough reason to know, he should be sued for it, because all those lives he used them for sacrifice. Nothing was achieved from it. Nothing, the campaign, there is no need for it. How can somebody contesting for America president now you create chaos in your own country? Bring our people to go and fight the military men to get them killed because you are supporting Trump. What have you achieved from Trump? Nothing. So, if I want to start analyzing this man, you understand, I have a lot of uncountable proofs that this guy is a fraudster. You understand? But you as well, you're very wise. But it's time you need to be very, very, you understand, very, very analyzing. You understand? Do the analyzing, because that's when they understand it more clear to them. That lady in Germany, she cut him to sizes. And if that's the kind of teaching we need to orientate these people, to get them back to their normal senses. You understand? Time is gone when we are doing it different way, because it's not working. You need to come out with the points and facts. That's how they learn and understand. You understand? Because that lady in Germany, she did a lot of good job. You understand? She finished the man. She made him understand he's a criminal and he should just leave his people alone. So that's what we need to be doing as well. If you play them, make the points there and analyze it so that we understand more. Thank you very much. Yeah, keep up the good job. God bless you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Yes, of course, our brother has made a wonderful contribution there, but our people must understand the only thing that is holding us is ability to organize. Yes, I am joined by Diokba Obidi. Can you hear me, sir? Good evening from here.
And thank you so very much, my brother. You're doing very good, man.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And, you are right there. And God will find a way to reward you for what you're doing for Biafra. It's not easy. In a lot of the times, people think that being consistent is a joke. It takes a lot from you, my brother. And I say, may God Almighty continue to bless you and your household. And my greetings from here to all Biafrans. Again, this is your brother, BJ Bien, calling you from Los Angeles. I don't have any unknown gunmen around me here, so that's why I can speak boldly, and praise God for that. That does not mean that I'm a kind of, laughing at people who are in that mess. But that's why it's so heartbreaking for me. Every time I'm looking at what is going on. There's something you said right in the beginning of your program, and I said, yeah, but I'm not buying into that. When you said that, though we might be happy about what is going on with your non-government, I'm not happy, my brother, because it's a setup. And the Nigerian government is carefully setting our people up. They, remember this Catriona or whatever they call her is in Nigeria. They are training the army. They are also giving them hands-on information on how to map our strategy to eliminate a lot of our people. And the enemy, what does he fight with? They kill you, they slaughter you, and they instill fear in you so that you will not say anything. We have seen all these years that what is happening to us is the fear. Unfortunately, we are faced with now the fear of unknown, which is the greatest fear man will ever experience, because you don't know what is going on now. Somebody is claiming titleship or ownership of the government, and at the same time, when something happens, he starts lying about it, he starts denying. And of course, these are some of the dangers that we are trying to prevent, and to let our people know that it's no longer the freedom we all sign up for that is going on now. It's more or less dramatization with people's lives. So, I called to tell you that I'm not happy with the events of things today. You see what happened in back. I'm not sure if you're privy to that information on the vandalization by the so-called police. Again, right in their face. I am so touched with that because it's close to where I used to vacation in Azikiwe Road. My father's house used to be at 37 Azikiwe Road. So when they said Azikiwe and Omoma Road, I already know where this thing was taking place. The police, the so-called police, I will not, because I can never ascribe that these people are police. The vandals, the criminals, they are vandal. They were there. They vandalized a lot of vehicles without regards to these people's livelihood. And I know that in that contraction, there's nothing like insurance. Even if you have insurance, maybe in Lagos and stuff like that, but even if you have insurance, you know how long it's going to take you to get your money. Unlike here, if somebody has vandalized my vehicle, if I come out, all I got to do is to call insurance and stuff like that, and everything will be taken care of. But these two so-called police have put a dent here. They have put sorrows in the heart of people this morning in Aba. And I had some people that are standing by there calling the police commander. The police commander is Emeka. Police commander is Emeka. That means he's a Biafran. And they are calling him, and they are not sending our police to that zone, and it's so sad to even see the pictures that I saw was so bad. And then tomorrow, if the so-called unknown gunmen kill police, they will say, oh, the unknown gunmen are killing our brothers. And this is a brother in the Nigerian terrorist police that have sent out his men to go and do this evil thing. Okay, and this is why I'm so displeased with everything, because there's nothing that is exciting about whatever thing that is going on in that land. A lot of people are dying for nothing. A lot of people are suffering from all this drama. Okay, the one, where are we going to count? Are we going to start from Obibo or MNA? Where are we going to start counting from? Or the killings over all these years? Nobody has been held accountable. What we are doing is crying out. They are killing us. They are killing us. Okay. Let us put the documents together to show all this evidence. Now, we are no longer in that path to present substantial evidence and keep them. Instead, we are out here threatening and boasting of what to do, and then claiming things that we didn't even do. That's how sad the whole thing is. That's how sad the whole thing is. If anything at all, the only thing that gives me pleasure is the people that were released there in that detention. Okay, because I know that if you really put your eyes down for those guys that were released from that detention, perhaps 80% may have not done anything at all to make them be locked up. We know in that contraption that people can be picked up anyhow. And then from there, if you don't have money to give to the police, and they take you to court and fabricate things, you end up in detention. So if anything, that's the only thing that gave me joy, that some of these people have an opportunity to be released. Okay, so if they can find their way, I know some of them are jailbirds. Of course, we know that some of them return back. According to the man that came with Usibanjo in the land and saying that these people are criminals. And this is where I don't get it. Because you are the one that is robbing the country. You are the one robbing the society. Clean and dead. And then you have the guts to be saying that these people are criminals. Okay? These are people you have not provided jobs. You have not given anything. You have not given welfare. You have nothing. And even in their quest to survive, you will always do something to make sure that they don't survive. For instance, what happened in Aba today? All those vehicles were broken down. Those men and women left their homes this morning to go in search of what they will use to provide for their family. And their properties were, destroyed. So things like this, I honestly speaking, and this is why whenever I come, I call on people, because no matter how much we try to push aside this problem, the onus is on the people to rise up and do something, not as an unknown person, but as a known people. You guys need to stand up and challenge this evil. But guess what we are looking at? Some of you are already starved to having a chicken brain. And what I mean chicken brain is that things happen to you on a daily basis, and every second you forget about what has happened. Okay, every second you forget about what has happened. Just within a week, from the killing in Ebonyi to the one in Owerri, now to Aba, and these are just the ones that I'm able to hear about. There are so many of them that things has happened within this period, and unfortunately, you just keep moving. Okay, you just keep moving because that's in your behavior of always saying, let's move, let's keep going. And it's so unfortunate. But anyway, it's so sad seeing all these things happen. It's really, really sad. And are we okay there, my Reverend? Are we okay?
Yes. Sorry for that.
Yeah, please, you can stay on mute because I'm getting kind of mixed reactions. Please, please allow me to give out this message. Thank you.
Go ahead.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about is what you have said about the gifts that has been given, and I am pretty sure as a Bible scholar that I know that God has given his children so many gifts. Okay, and I like the analogy you gave using a palace and the type of characters in the king's palace. There are so many types of characters, and that's what makes it the king's palace. And I, when you were saying these things, I was here shaking my head. I said, wow, my reverend is too much. Because, when I grew up in the village, we saw these characters. Sometimes these are the characters that, on a normal circumstances, somebody will say that they are not good citizens or they are not, quality kind of citizens. But guess what? In terms of security, these are people that will see something happening. These are people that usually see when there is crime is being committed. These are people that usually see when somebody's wife is being taken. These are people that usually see when something bad happening. Recall, where the otokoto of a guy, if it wasn't for a palm wine tapper, nobody will find out that evil that guy was doing in Imo State at that time. If it wasn't for somebody on the palm tree, that's all. So the gifts were given. And when you have a gift and that gift is overblowing your head, that becomes a problem. Because these gifts are gifts from God, they're spiritual gifts, and is given for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. Okay, so it shouldn't be, people should not take advantage just because somebody knows how to talk. Somebody knows how to come and give you history of what happened in the 1880s or what happened in the before Christ. Just because they are given the gift to be able to tell you this story, package it in such a way that you understand it. That does not give that person a kind of upper hand, everything. Then all of a sudden, a history teacher automatically, because of our chicken brain, becomes a godsend because he was able to teach you history that are out there. Okay? And I've heard people saying that if it's not for so person, nobody knows about Biafra. People, that's wrong. That is wrong. I knew about Biafra. The reason I joined this struggle was because once I had somebody talking about it and calling on our people to come so we can all do this together, immediately my heart leaped for joy. I said, wow. So there are people out there who are ready to do this. Never knew it's going to get to this point that now it becomes when God will fire you, thunder fire you and everything. Can you imagine that you old man, you don't have common sense, all kinds of nonsense. Okay? We all, as a matter of fact, even before this criminal of our time, called Nandekana, Wazirike was doing it. I've said it here on the radio several times. It's just that I don't participate in something that I cannot bring something in. When Wazirike was doing it, I was literally handicapped. I was back home. I could have been able to go and join for rallies, but when you're back home and you don't have that stuff to even transport yourself from point to point, then, things like that can hinder somebody from participating. But the God in heaven knows that the day somebody told me there's this young lawyer that came back from India that is championing the issue of Biafra, I was very happy with him. Now, over the years, he has done all that he did. And for whatever reason, as a human being, things that he did, like plate numbers or getting currency without readiness, kind of backfired. And he kind of stepped low, never stopped fighting for Biafra. But he took corrections. He cautioned himself and took a different approach, more of a comprehensive approach. To up to tomorrow, this man loves Biafra so much. He has no limitation as far as who to talk to. Very humble. I happened to have a one-on-one encounter with him. Saw that nothing. He's a clean man. That all these years we were part of the people that are running our mouth over without knowing who he is. His latest interview now can tell you exactly the kind of person he is. And now people are already writing garbage. People are writing nonsense as far as a true communication, that is very clear. If somebody would have had sense, people will learn from that information that the Chief Rafa Wazirike gave out the other day. They should learn from it. They should look at that as a very good, communication. Not to be writing useless things on the Facebook, trying to say that he's now wanting to join Nandekan. He's now apologizing to Nandekan. Some of them say he's scared of unknown gunmen. That's bullshit as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Chief Elijah Saradokobo also made a very clear point when interviewed the other day. Okay, these things will tell you who these individuals are. That they are men of the people. They don't have a personal or hidden agenda for the issue of Biafra. But here today, we are locked in, some of you, not me, some of you are still locked in that mentality because they kind of knows how to tell you history. It automatically becomes a deliverer. He's a history teacher. He's not a strategist. He doesn't know. He's creating more problems. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for, I think the British are loving what he's doing. The Nigerian government is loving what he's doing. And this is why they want to help him out to show more unknown gunmen, both the ones they're killing in the UGEP in Cross River and this latest development. And people are hopping up and down without thinking of potential consequences. And that is not to say that we are scared of the Fulanis. It's just that the system is so convoluted because even in the wake of all these things, our people are being used against us in the name of one Nigeria. What happened in Aba today is a clear-cut evidence. A police chief in Aba was being called out to see what his boys are doing. Emeka is his name, unless he adopted Emeka. Because we now know that most of them were born in the land and they had our names, but they're still, their blood is what speaks. They're still the same people. They're still Fulanese. Okay? But that said, the last thing I want to say this evening is the importance of our people to look down. But someone once said that waiting there for Shokoto, there for Shokoto, meaning that whatever we are looking to find is right here with us. The Biafra de facto customary government, the implementation committee, has made a call for all of us to come. We want to take care of our own. We want to take care of our land. I know that somebody was out there bickering about forming a de facto, not even a de facto, but a customary government that is going to Abuja and petitioning everybody for all these years. Yeah, okay, that's fine. He can continue to petition Nigeria. But this de facto government is set to take care of the business. We are not interested for now in petitioning Abuja. We need to tell ourselves the truth. We need to confront all these people. They say they are leaders of our land. And when I say confrontation, a lot of you go look in the dictionary. It's not fighting them. But we have to ask them questions. We need to know what they're doing. We need to understand why they're doing what they're doing in order for us to find a solution. This is not the time to keep ranting up and down. But at the same time, we must encourage you who are listening, some of you who are still in that 2023 mentality, disassociate yourself from anything that is called political party, political gathering in that contraption. It's not going to get you anywhere. Look at what has happened over these years. There's no hope. I know a lot of people will say, oh, once you start creating political whatever, they will forget that you don't have a chance. They give you who they want. The Imo people are first-hand experience to this. Okay, you saw what happened a few months ago. So we need to tell ourselves the truth. There is no way. We saw that in Anambra State as well. Obiano's second time was a kind of a package. Okay? David Umahi, who says is the head of the governors in Southeast, he now jumped over to APC to make it easier for him to win, perhaps, a senatorial position. Because, or not to win, but to be placed there, because that's what they do. Okorocha, the same thing, you saw him. What happened in the past election? He didn't win, but he told them that if you didn't give me my certification, I'm going to tell the world what is going on in Nassau Rock. And immediately they gave him his certification. So all these things that people are ranting up and down. Some people are saying that we need to put up a political whatever. It's just a gimmick. It's just a waste of time. We need to rally around the Biafra de facto government, make yourself available, and let us talk to ourselves and see a way ahead. I will stand by my reverend, but before I go, I must remind Biafrans of 3 core principles to our freedom. One is resilience, being stable in all that we're doing. Secondly, we must tell ourselves the truth. That is the only prescription that God has given us for freedom, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And the third most important thought is humility. We must humble ourselves. When we do that, God, who knows that we are helpless, will find a way to help us. And with that, I would say thank you very much for what you're doing for Biafrans. All hail Biafra, and God bless the people of Biafra. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I guess you're still on mute if you don't mind.
Yes.
You're probably still on mute.
Yes. Thank you very much,
Yes.
sir. And well said. Thank you very much.
All right, my brother. Keep up the good job.
Thank you very much, sir. We must continue from there. Our people must understand the truth cannot be exchanged for anything. It's just the truth. You must let it go. You must let it distill into every avenue until her job is done. As we are inching closer to the end of this program, our people must understand that every principle that needs to be deployed for us to be able to get home can all not be laid bare before the global community. The only important thing that we are benefiting from this broadcast is calling the attention of our people. Calling the attention of our people. Because this is the time. I do not think there will be any better time than this. There are a lot of people who are mapping our strategy to make sure that this privilege we have in a time like this will never be given to another set of Biafra. But then we will prolong the journey for them. We will prolong this journey for them. We will give them more job to do.